The Last Train Home, Life on Japan's Railways. Close your eyes. Imagine a sound, a low hum, steady and constant. The gentle sway of a carriage, the soft percussion of wheels on rails, rhythmic as a heartbeat. A window beside you, dark with night. And somewhere out there, city lights drifting past like slow-moving stars. You are on a train in Japan, and there is nowhere else in the world you would rather be right now. Tonight, let me take you into one of Japan's most defining spaces. Not a building, not a garden, but a moving one. The train. Japan's railways are more than transportation. They are a mirror of the culture itself. Precise, considerate, quietly extraordinary. A nation on rails. Japan has one of the most extensive railway networks in the world. Over 27,000 kilometers of track, more than 9,000 stations, nearly 30 billion passenger journeys made every single year. That is roughly 80 million people boarding a train every day. Shinjuku Station in Tokyo is the busiest railway station on Earth. On an average day, over 3.5 million people pass through its gates. 3.5 million. And yet, it works. The trains arrive. The trains depart. People move through the corridors with practiced efficiency, like water finding its level. The average delay of a Japanese train is less than 1 minute per year. 1 minute. In 2017, a train on the Tsukuba Express line departed 20 seconds early. The railway company issued a formal public apology. 20 seconds early. Apologized for. That tells you everything you need to know about how Japan thinks about time, about reliability, and about the unspoken promise a train makes to every person waiting on the platform.
The unspoken rules of the rails. Step onto a Japanese train for the first time and you will notice something immediately. It is quiet. Not silent. The train itself makes sound, but the people inside are hushed. Phones on silent, voices low or absent, conversations conducted in whispers, if at all. This is not a rule posted on a sign. It is simply understood. The train is shared space, and in Japan, shared space is treated with care. Phone calls are not made on the train. If your phone rings, you silence it quickly and send a text instead. Music does not leak from headphones. Backpacks are moved from shoulders to hands or placed on the overhead rack so they do not bump into the person beside you. Food is not eaten on local trains, though long-distance Shinkansen rides are the exception. Seats near the doors are designated priority seats for elderly passengers, pregnant women, people with injuries, and those traveling with small children. Many Japanese people choose not to sit in these seats at all, even when they are empty, just in case someone who needs them boards at the next stop. And when the train pulls in, passengers wait on the platform in two neat lines on either side of the door. They wait for everyone to exit first. Then they board, in order, without rushing. No pushing, no elbowing, just patience, practiced so thoroughly it no longer looks like patience at all. It looks like nature.
Kanto versus Kansai, a nation divided by escalators. In Tokyo and the greater Kanto region, you stand on the left side of the escalator. The right side is kept clear for people who wish to walk. Cross the border into Osaka and the Kansai region, and everything flips. You stand on the right. The left is for walking. It sounds simple, but get it wrong in Osaka and you will know immediately from the gentle, deeply polite but unmistakably firm energy of the person waiting behind you. Beyond the escalator, the differences run deeper. In Tokyo, train culture is formal. reserved, efficient. People read, scroll, or stare ahead. Strangers do not speak to each other. In Osaka, the energy is different, warmer, louder, more human. Osakans are famous across Japan for their humor and their willingness to talk. It is not unusual for a conversation to break out between strangers on a Kansai train. The trains of Kyoto carry their own feeling, older, quieter, layered with a sense that history is very close to the surface. Monks in robes board alongside tourists with enormous cameras. Schoolchildren in uniform read manga beside businessmen in suits. Every region, every line, a slightly different Japan. The view from the window. One of the great underrated pleasures of Japan is watching the world through a train window. The Shinkansen, the bullet train, travels at over 300 kilometers per hour. And yet, the ride is smooth. Eerily smooth. You feel more like you are floating than moving. On a clear day, traveling from Tokyo to Kyoto, Mount Fuji appears on your left, perfectly conical, snow-capped in winter, rising above the flat farmland like something from a dream. It is there for only a few minutes, and then it is gone. On local trains, the view changes more slowly. Rice fields in summer, vivid green, perfectly ordered. Small towns, where the platform is just a concrete strip beside a single track. A grandmother waiting alone with a cloth bag. A child waving at the passing train, for no reason other than pure joy. Through tunnels carved into mountains. Across bridges over rivers broad and silver in the morning light. Into stations buried deep underground, where the city hums above like a distant dream. Japan from a train window is Japan at its most honest, unposed, unfiltered, moving too fast to perform.
Ekiben, the poetry of station food. On long journeys, the train allows one beautiful exception to its usual rules of quiet and restraint. Food. Ekiben, station bento boxes. Each major station in Japan sells its own bento, crafted from local ingredients, local recipes, specific to that region and nowhere else. In Toyama, you might find a bento of pressed sushi, masu no sushi, pink trout laid over seasoned rice, wrapped in bamboo leaves. In Hokkaido, a box of sea urchin and crab so fresh it tastes like the ocean is still nearby. In Kyoto, a delicate box of seasonal vegetables and tofu arranged with the same attention to beauty as a temple garden. Collecting ekiben is a serious hobby in Japan. There are guidebooks, festivals, competitions. The best ekiben are discussed with the same reverence as a great restaurant. And there is something wonderful about sitting in a moving train, opening a lacquered box, and eating food that could only exist in the place you just left. A meal that is already becoming a memory before you have finished eating it.
Corner seats and the quiet logic of Japanese behavior. Spend enough time on Japanese trains and you begin to notice patterns. One of the most consistent, Japanese passengers have a strong preference for the corner seat. Every bench on a Japanese train has two end seats, the ones pressed against the wall of the carriage. These seats fill first, always. The reason is simple if you think about it. A corner seat means only one stranger beside you, not two. A wall on one side. A boundary. A small, reliable privacy. In a country where personal space is precious and physical contact between strangers is avoided, the corner seat is a small luxury, quietly and universally desired. Another pattern. If a seat opens up next to someone with a large bag or someone who has spread out slightly, many Japanese passengers will choose a different seat, even if it is less convenient, to avoid causing the other person discomfort. And if you are a traveler with a large suitcase, you will feel this consideration directed toward you too. On the Shinkansen, large luggage now has designated storage areas. But on local trains, a heavy suitcase in a crowded carriage requires awareness. Tuck it between your legs. Hold it upright. Keep it from blocking the aisle. The unspoken rule is always the same. Your presence should not burden others. It is a principle that runs through all of Japanese public life. And on the train, it becomes visible and physical. A daily practice of consideration repeated 30 million times in a single city on a single day.
The last train and the people who miss it. Japan's trains do not run all night. The last train, the Shuden, typically departs somewhere between midnight and midnight. And the last train is an experience unlike any other. The carriage fills with people who have stayed out too long, salarymen in loosened ties, cheeks flushed, holding convenience store bags with tomorrow's breakfast inside, young couples leaning together, half asleep, groups of friends still laughing, still not ready for the night to end, everyone a little more human than they were at 9 in the morning. And then there are those who miss it. Missing the last train in Japan is a particular kind of drama. Your phone comes out, you check the taxi fares, you consider crying. Taxis in Japan are reliable, clean, and comfortable. They are also, by the standards of most of the world, extremely expensive. A late-night ride of even 10 or 15 kilometers can cost the equivalent of $50, $60, $70. And so, something remarkable sometimes happens. Strangers gather outside the station, heads lowered over phones, checking maps. Someone says, quietly, tentatively, "Are you going anywhere near Shibuya?" A pause. "I am, actually. Would you want to share a taxi?" And just like that, a small, temporary community forms. 2 strangers, 3 strangers, 4, climbing into a cab they would never have shared if the trains were still running. Sitting in the warm back seat at 1 in the morning, watching the empty city drift past, talking a little, laughing a little, exchanging the kind of easy honesty that only happens between people who know they will probably never see each other again. The last train takes you home, but missing it sometimes takes you somewhere else entirely. Safe enough to sleep. Perhaps the most quietly extraordinary thing about Japanese trains is this: people sleep on them. Deeply, without worry. A businessman with his briefcase on his lap, head tilted back, mouth slightly open, dead to the world. A young woman with her head resting against the window, her bag in her lap, her phone in her hand, completely unconscious. No one will bother them. No one will take their bag. No one will even disturb them unless it is their stop. And sometimes, often, they sleep past their stop. The train continues, station after station. The city gives way to suburbs. The suburbs give way to fields. The fields give way to the end of the line. And the sleeping passenger wakes up somewhere they never intended to be. There is a word for this in Japan: norikosu, to ride past your stop. It happens to almost everyone eventually. A long day, a warm carriage, the rhythm of the rails, and sleep arriving before you could stop it. The platform at the end of the line is quiet. A station attendant might gently tap your shoulder. You blink. You look around.
You check the departure board for the next train back. You wait on a bench in the empty station. The night is still. The rails gleam faintly under the fluorescent lights. And somehow, even here, at the wrong end of the line, you feel completely safe. That is the gift Japan gives you. The freedom to be tired. The freedom to let go. The freedom to fall asleep in public and wake up knowing nothing has changed except the station name on the sign. Somewhere in Japan right now, a train is moving through the dark. Its lights are warm against the night. Its passengers are still. Some are reading, some are scrolling, some are already asleep, rocked gently by the motion of the rails. The city outside moves past like a slow dream. Neon signs, dark rivers, bridges, a convenience store lit up white on a quiet corner, a bicycle parked alone under a street lamp. The train does not hurry. It simply moves, certain, steady, on time. Let that rhythm carry you now, the gentle sway, the hum of the rails, the sense of moving forward even while you rest. You do not need to know where you are going tonight. The train knows. Close your eyes. Let it take you. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. May tomorrow be the greatest day of your life. Oyasumi nasai.